Spiritual Center worldwide, where we believe there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are. We are using it. We acknowledge that nothing happens by chance, that we're all here by divine appointment because we heard the call, we answered that call. And for our viewing audience, I know many of you are from all over the world and we hear from you. And what we know is that there's nothing like being in community. Reach out and touch somebody's hand, make this world a better place because we can, to feel that heartbeat within one another, to reach out and touch. And then with technology, we can put the message out there, but there's nothing like the human touch. There's nothing like community. There's nothing like being together. When I was 2 years old, I had a neighbor named Eve Rhodes, and she would come over and get me dressed and take me to Sunday school to her very fundamentalist church. And everyone was so loving and so wonderful, and I hear horror stories about fundamentalism and all, you know, what people went through. My experiences were very, very positive, and I learned that no matter, and we believe this in our way of life, is that no matter beyond color, race, creed, or sexual orientation, we are all one as children. We know this. And as Fleet sang so beautifully this morning, bless the beasts and the children. Bless our little four-leggeds and the children. Bless the inner child within us, the one that has never been touched by grief, has never taken offense nor given offense, the one that's open to the universe. And in the Tarot, there is a very high Tarot card, and it's the Divine Fool. And he's got a little knapsack, and he's stepping off a cliff, and that Divine Fool knows that he'll either sprout wings or an angel of light will come up and lift him to the next level. That we have the faith as a grain of mustard seed. We say to this mountain, this obstacle, this energy that's looming up in front of us, remove hence. And it does. Because with God, all things are possible. With man, the Bible tells us, they are impossible. Because man's getting his ego in there, and I'm going to make this work if it kills me. And it usually does. So as we let go and let God do what God does best by means of us, we're allowing an energy to flow through us. My topic this morning is the art of blessing. It has been our theme for the entire month. And the art of blessing, no matter what is in front of us. Our Wednesday night live Spirit, Mind, and Body speakers were fantastic, coming from Pasadena. Marsh Engel, Dr. Yoshi Suyuki, coming from Los Angeles to give us the ancient Shinto blessing. And with Marsh coming the day after the election and saying, I felt anything but blessing and gratitude when I put that foot, you know, on that floor. And I thought, oh my God, I got to talk about gratitude tonight. And then treating herself, going within to the secret place of the Most High within us, and praying to our Father, Mother, God in secret, and knowing that we are acknowledged openly by the outward demonstrations of our lives. You see, when push comes to shove, the rub is that if we're out there putting this good stuff out there, when things happen to us, we gotta absolutely embody what we teach. We teach best what we need to know the most, and then to put that into practice. And I see, you know, somebody puts up a shingle, there's suddenly a life coach out of, you know, 3 hours of whatever on the internet, or they're a minister and they've bought, you know, their ministerial degree. I hear that doctorates now are going for $10 on the internet. I love Frankie and Grace. It's a series. And what happens is the two husbands discover after 20 years that they're in love. So they leave Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, who are playing these two characters, and to be with each other. So they're feeling devastated. They're feeling like, I have nothing to bless. And so she says, I just wish you were dead. Well, then he has a heart attack, so she's feeling all of this guilt. Oh my God, what have I done? Like she's that powerful, right? So they're in the hospital scene, and he wants to get married to his love. And so they call upon Lily Tomlin's character, her name is Frankie, and she performs this ceremony. And she says, and by the power vested in me through the internet, I now pronounce you husband and husband. Right? And so, you know, there are all these things out there. And you don't mind if I go to these little asides, do you? Yeah, they're kind of juicy. And there are all these things out there. But what I know, our daily life is our temple and our religion. We gotta do the work. And as we do the work, all our stuff's gonna bubble up. All our insecurities are gonna bubble up. All our deepest fears are gonna bubble up. Hallelujah. They've bubbled up. Now we can address them, right? They've surfaced. Now we can address them. We can look at, as Ernest Holmes says, the discordant fact in the face. I love his eloquence. To look a discordant fact in the face and deny its apparent reality. What are we denying? We are denying the energy that this thing outside of us has any power over us. It's only got the power that we give it. I loved at our Wednesday Night Live Thanksgiving Eve service, which is one of the most beautiful services that we conduct here in our ministry, where everyone has the opportunity to share what they're most grateful for. I love that Carl came up and he said, I am so grateful that I can drive, that I've been taking city buses and transportation, and I got my license. I got it renewed, and I could relate so much to that, Carl, because after 30 years of not taking a test, when I turned 70, the DMV sent me a little card. It's kind of like when you're 65, the government sends you a little red, white, and blue card that says Medicare, you know, a little birthday card. When you're 70, you get to take the test again, and I had not taken that test in 30 years. They would just, you know, perfect driving record and all of that, send me the renewal. So now I got to take the test, and I shared Wednesday night that, you know, I was terrified. I can speak to 25,000 students and faculty in the deepest, darkest Nigeria at Madonna University once a year. I can go all over the world by myself, speaking in Croatia, in Istanbul. I can go to London at Queen's University. I can go all over the world speaking about what I love. I love what I do, and I do what I love, but when it came to a little DMV driving test, I was terrified. Oh my God. So my hairdresser said, you know, I've got all these tests that everybody gives me. Study those. So I read the book, I studied them, and when I got in there, I had shared, who is there but my associate minister, the Reverend Dr. Clayton Beaver is there taking his driving test. We're there in the DMV. We're holding hands. We're speaking our word. Everybody's kind of looking, what are they doing? There's one life, that life is God's life, that life is my life. That life is this test. I am divinely guided, and you know, we're doing this whole thing. Everybody's getting a kick out of it that we're in there, you know, and I said, we're ministers. Oh, okay, got it. Okay. And I said, and we're 70. And we're taking this test. And so, you know, Clayton, you know, he missed about 4 and felt good about it. I missed 2 that I wavered on, thought, oh, okay. But, you know, you embrace Tiger. You feel the fear and you do it anyway. And it's not like the huge, big things. It's the everyday, having the courage to turn the routines of work into celebrations of life and love. And I shared that when I was in Starbucks, my daughter got to come in from Arizona for 24 hours with my little grandson. And one of the big things that we used to do as she was a child is we used to feed the elders and people that didn't have a place to go. We would go to this civic center and we would serve. And it was very, very meaningful. So my daughter wanted to put that in place for my grandson. And he goes, yes, we're going to go and we're going to serve. So after he served all those that didn't have a place to go, and the homeless and all of those in need, he got on the phone. I said, how was it? He goes, oh, Mima, it was awesome. And the most awesome part, I said, yeah, we all sat down and we ate together in oneness, in oneness. Bless the beasts and the children. Bless the energy of light that penetrates the darkness. The darkness comprehendeth it not, and shadows flee away forever and ever and ever. We have challenges, we bless those challenges. Those things are the very fiber that has allowed us to be who we are. That is the strength of our resiliency, that we have been through a few things. When you look in the mirror and there's maybe you're saying, oh, you know, wrinkles. No, those are laugh lines. Those are joyous lines. Joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. Joy. So we're going to make that shift. Someone once said, well, no good deed goes unpunished. I said, what a horrible philosophy of life. No good deed goes unpunished. Well, you know, oh, it's just a figure of speech. The universe doesn't know that. Every good deed you do, honey, no good deed goes unpunished, right? You know, Buckminster Fuller said it. He said, it doesn't take any intelligence at all to think negatively. That's just going with the crowd and the energy of mass consciousness. We're shifting mass consciousness in favor of spirituality, don't you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Every time we take higher ground and we bless a situation, energetically we're moving to the next level. Every time we feel sadnesses and we transmute that energy into something very deep, a level of compassion that we didn't even know that we were capable of. That is that divine blessing coming through in our lives and the opportunity that we have to move to the next level of our own experience and view things. You know, in many near-death experiences, they say that they left their body and they could view things. And I remember when I was 15 years old, I had my tonsils out, and they had to give me blood transfusions because I lost so much blood. And I remember I was above, and I was watching everything. And I saw my mother crying. I saw my sister, and she was, you know, very bereft. And I saw my grandmother, and you know, she was my Oklahoma granny that chewed tobacco. I called her my tobacco chewing Oklahoma granny. And her favorite drink was strawberry pop, but during the day it would turn a deeper shade of red. And her language got a little funny. But she was she was spiritual. And her name was Myrtle. And I remember her at the side of my bed, and she said, "You have other work to do." And I remember her just kind of talking like that. And when I came back and entered back into my body, I knew at 15 years old that I had other work to do. So energetically, when we see this amazing perspective, we don't have to have a near-death experience to do it. We go within to the secret place of the Most High. We go within to acknowledge there is a power and there is a presence in the energy. And so when my daughter and I were at Albertsons, I was sharing Wednesday night that it was amazing because this woman came up to me and she goes, "Are you a pastor?" And I said, "Well, I'm a minister." I've never really related to pastor because I feel like, you know, you're not sheep. We're all here together and we're empowering each other. So I've never really quite related to that, but I know it's about the good shepherd and the shepherdess and all of that, right? So energetically, I said, "I'm a minister." She goes, "I'm from Alabama." And she said, "My son was up all night, couldn't keep anything down," and she started crying a little bit. My daughter's standing here and she's crying now. And she says, "I'm just so worried about him." And I just took her hand and I just said, "There is one life." I said, "What's your son's name?" She said, "Ryan." I said, "There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is Ryan's life, right here and right now." And in the line, someone saw me and said, "Oh, Dr. Sharon." It was a friend of mine who is a fundamentalist minister. Her name's Sheila. I said, "Okay, Sheila's in the line also. She's a minister. And her husband is also a minister. So you're in the line at Starbucks, right? And you're here." And I said, "You have created 3 ministers in a line at Albertsons at the Starbucks. Look how powerful you are. And your son is whole, perfect, and complete. You reached out beyond your comfort zone." And I said, "How did you know I was a minister?" And she goes, "I just felt it. I just kind of felt it." And I said, "Amazing." I said, "Because you created me for you. That's how powerful you are. And your son is healed." And I said, "Sheila, his name's Ryan." And she goes, "Got it. You know, he's covered. He's handled." So when we realize energetically that the veil is very thin, that our oneness moves beyond all of this stuff that we think is so important, that the art of blessing is blessing all of it, the sadnesses, the joys, the tears, the laughter, the energy, the opportunity that we have to know the truth in the face of the times when it is so difficult to know the truth. Those are the most important moments. And to recap Ernest Holmes, when things look the worst is the best time to pray, the most fulfilling time to pray. And he uses the word treatment, because a spiritual treatment is a positive prayer. We go to doctors for treatments and all kinds of practitioners for treatments. We go within to the doctor that's always in the house, always within us. So this morning, as we acknowledge the art of blessing, that no matter what looms up in our experience, no matter what it is, that we have the opportunity to keep moving to higher ground. And what I would like to leave with you with is this darling it's an Aesop's fable. And it's about the donkey. And there is an old man, and he's got his donkey, and he's, trudging along the road, and he gets to his property, and he's going up to the barn, and all of a sudden he stumbles. And as he stumbles, the donkey falls down the well. He said, oh my God, that old donkey's down that well. What do I do? And he just said, well, he's old. I don't know what to do. So he says, I'm just going to bury him. I mean, I'm going to let him suffer. And so he gets out the shovel and he's shoveling dirt, and the donkey begins to bray terribly, and he's shoveling dirt and putting it down the well, and he's shoveling dirt and putting it down the well, and shoveling dirt, putting it down the well. And what he notices, the neighbors come and they're shoveling, and he looks down, and the donkey is getting higher and higher and higher until finally he steps out of the well and runs into the barn, right? And he goes, oh my God, well, what was happening when they were shoveling dirt? The donkey was shaking it off and stomping on it, shaking it off and stomping on it, shaking it off and stomping on it. So what I love about this donkey story is that when people start throwing dirt, you shake it off, you stomp on it, and you rise yourself to higher ground. And I have said, and you know this, whenever I have felt I've had the rug pulled out from under me, I always land on higher ground. Always. So when we begin to bless the energy and bless the opportunities and open to what the universe has in store for us, and every single morning I bless my home, my four-leggeds, bless the beasts and the children. A little grandson that will say, it's just so awesome, I want to do this every year. He got so much out of it. My daughter said, do you want to go out and play with the other kids? Oh no, I like serving. And he was, he was in charge of drinks. So he had all of the waters and the lemonades that he was serving, and got so much value out of it. That is the new generation. That is the generation that's coming up and moving into our society, so that we can really begin to experience what we talk about, which is, let there be peace on earth, let it begin with me. In all things, give thanks. In all things, have the opportunity within oneself to say, I bless this. I don't understand it at the moment. It's like came out of left field, but I know there's a blessing in here somewhere. And I open to that blessing as I let go and let God do what God does best by means of me. And you are as close to God, remember, as I'm ever going to get. And I am as close to God as you are ever going to get. And we're all going somewhere. Do you know where that is? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And that makes all the difference. Thank you for tuning in. We are so very, very pleased that we can bring this message to you. And all of you who are sending in your donations from Facebook, thank you very, very much. It is so deeply appreciated. And so it is. God bless you.